Hello, Trent here with Burning Tree Productions. How are you guys doing this morning? I'm going to do a video on how to recess a piano hinge into a lid. On my smaller boxes, my music boxes, I'll usually put it into the box itself. But because the boss thought, but because of how big the hope chest are, the boxes on them, it's going to be really hard to sit there and try and move it this way and move it that way with the on the router. So what I'm going to do is I've already marked these, but I'm going to show you what I do to find out what my measurement is on it. So what I do is I'll just take and I'll find the center of the board, and I'm going to tilt you down here so you guys can see the board. Actually, let me see if I can't drop you down a little bit. Sorry, my arm's in the way right now. Bring you down to level. All right. So I take the board and I go, okay, well, this is 36 inches. And I'll take the hinge and I say, okay, this is 30 inches. So we want to find out where the middle of this is, which is going to be 18. I've marked it right here, which you can't really see, but we're going to bring it up and see if we can get to it. Yeah, see that mark at 18? So I've marked it at 18, and then I marked my hinge at 15. So it's the middle, because we want this to be in the middle of it. So there's 15 there, and there's 15 there. So then we take the hinge and we bring it over to the 18 mark in the middle. And we make two marks on this side. One there. And one there. Now, if I was to take this over to my router table now the way it is, I wouldn't be able to see where my marks are. So what I have to do is transfer these marks on the outside and the middle one to the bottom or the top of this board. That way, we can take it over and we know where to begin in the center, and we know where to end on the sides. Let me see if I can find my ruler real quick. Even better, I found a quick square. So I'll take my quick square and I'll find the edge of it. And I'll bring it over. Then I'll mark it down. And you probably can't see that, but I'll take and make a mark. So that's straight down. We'll make another one here in the center, so we know where our center begins. And then we'll make another one at the end over here, so we know where this mark begins and ends. Now, I'll flip it over. And now we've got our marks. Oh, I saw it for a minute there. We've got our marks right here in the center, and then one right at the end. But I still have to be able to see it, because once this is up against my router table, I'm not going to be able to see it. So I need to transfer these marks over to here. Once this is all done, you can sand off the marks and make it good. They'll disappear and it'll look really good. So again, just take your quick square or a ruler or whatever, and just mark it. So you have a good idea of where to start, where the center of it is, where the two ends are. Okay, so now I can actually take it from here, set up my router table, and then cut it. So now I'm over here at the router table. And what I've done is I've went ahead and adjusted my router bit so that the tip of the router bit, or the tip of it, the height of it, is the same, comes to the same height as this right here. So you don't want to go off of this one because this is too narrow, but you want to go off the back side where the hinge is actually at. So you bring it over and you put your hinge up against there, and you find, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you find out the height, or the height of the router tip to the height of the hinge. You make sure that those are the same on both sides, or on the same height. That way, when you go to cut it, then it'll be the same exact height. Sorry for the stuttering of it. So now what I do is I know that if I put this in, I'll start at the center, bring it all the way over, and make sure that I don't go any farther with that bit. So basically what I did is I made these lines of the table just enough so I know where the router bit will end at. So I don't go past it with my cut. Then I'll bring it back and we'll go all the way over and get there. Now when you're on this side of it, it's going to want to grab it and jerk it. So you want to make sure that you hold on tight and you don't let it just pull it out of your hands. So let's try it and see. If you look here, you can see that I was just a tiny bit short. Sorry guys. See right here? My cut's right here, but my cut, or my mark is right here, but my cut's about an 1/8 inch back. On this side, I did a little bit better job. It's only about just a hair back, just a little tiny bit back. Yeah, now if you look, that is right at that mark. Now there's a little bit of a round part on it. I'm going to have to fix that. Same thing on this side. But that's just taking the chisel and cutting it in. So now I've got to do it again, so I'll have to adjust my table just to go in about another 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to do one more pass to get it so I can actually put my hinge. Because if you look, you can see that it's just sticking out just a little bit. You can leave it that way. I just want it to be in, so it's flush with it. So I'm going to go with about 1/8 of an inch. Or I adjusted my router table to just do about 1/8 of an inch. So I can get that all the way cut in. And then we'll take a chisel or something and cut this so it'll go right in. So we'll do one more cut. Right there, you can see my little mess of it. Oh well. Just perfectly right inside there. All right, so I noticed when I was doing this that my screw for this hinge was a little bit long, and it's just poking out of the bottom here. I'm going to turn you around here and just kind of show you what I'm talking about. You can see it right here. See how it's just poking out of the, like if I rub my finger across. So I don't want that to happen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just cut the tip off of it. I'll take my pliers, my heavy duty pliers, or they're also called lineman's. And you want to watch out because you can lose it. So I just take them and I just pinch. I find where I want to go at. And I pinch and I cut the top off of it. And then I just have that little bit left. So I need to do this with 15 of these. Once again, you just take it and you find where you want to go at. You just hold this one with your hand and you just squeeze, and then it'll just cut the top off. Okay, so now that I've got all my screws cut, now I'll take my hinge and I'll mark the screw holes. So I'll just take a pencil and I'll just mark it. Once I'm done with that, I'll take the drill and I'm just going to barely go down with the drill. Just enough to, you want to go down so far, but you don't want to go through the lid. And then if you notice, I got a drill bit that's just about the same, maybe a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller than it. That's what you want, is just a little bit smaller. Alright, so I pre-drilled all my holes and then I'm going to pre-screw them. When I'm done with that, I'll take it out And I'll take the screws out, and then I'll take this hinge inside to the hope chest, and we'll measure that so it's on the center of it. Alright, now we're going to put the hinge on the hope chest. So I'll do the same thing I did out there. I'll mark it, or I'll measure to make sure where the center is on it. Mark it, mark my hinge at 15, and then I'll just drill, or put the holes in, and then I'll just drill where I want it to go at. I'm going to put we'll attach the lid. See how well it shuts. Now, I don't want it to go all the way down, and obviously it's going to be tight to go all the way down. But what I want to do is I'll add they're self-closing hinges, or soft-closing hinges. I'll add them to right here and right here on both sides, and that'll help it hold it there. Plus it'll help it, so they say soft-closing, but it'll help it to hold up like this. But once it gets down to, and these are new ones, so we'll see. But once it gets down to about right here, it drops like that. So not necessarily soft closing, but it definitely is. It does help a little bit. But there you go. That's how I can flip it around. That's how you do a recessed hinge, or a hidden hinge, or whatever you want to say. It's not really hidden, but it's recessed into the wood. All right.